So if you're watching this, hopefully you made it through your warm-up. We are going to pause what we were doing yesterday, and we're going to try just doing a little bit different, but it's on the same sort of concept that we were doing before. All right? So we are going to be talking about this thing called EduSwivel, right? What we're going to do is we're going to read about it. It's a device that captures energy. We've looked through a ton of amazing inventions. Some of you really liked the gyroscope. Some of you really liked the ones that you put in the creek. Some of you really liked the ones that you used in the wind. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at this, and we're going to use the scientific process, right? The scientific thought process to consider if this would be a good purchase or not. All right? So the first one is the brochure. This is a little bit small to see, so I'm going to jump over to the brochure, but you have this document and you can zoom in if you like. By the way, these do not need to go into your notebook. This can be a separate set of slides just for today, just for us to get through. And if you don't get through it all, we'll finish and you can finish up later this week. All right? So, EduEnergy, helping schools save energy since 2013. So I'm going to read this, and it says, about our company. At EduEnergy, we are a business of helping students generate electricity for their schools. We design state-of-the-art furniture and other equipment for schools like yours. At first glance, you can see that our products are designed with comfort and quality in mind. What you can't see is that every EduEnergy product has a built-in electric generator. These generators convert energy from students' movement to electrical energy and store it in a battery. Schools can use these batteries to power computers, tablets, lights, or more. And more. I'm not good at reading. This is how much energy think of how much is really not good at reading. Think of how much energy your school could save with EduEnergy products. All right, so here we've got a picture. We've got our chalkboard in the background, right? And it's about this EduSwivel. The swivel chair is designed so that students can turn in any direction during class. You guys have all used swivel chairs and you've all swiveled in them. And every time you move, every time a student swivels their seat, their movement turns a generator. This generator converts electrical energy to potential energy that's stored in a battery. Right? So the kinetic energy, I said that wrong. See, I told you. Aren't you glad I'm taking a math test and not a reading test? The generator converts kinetic energy to potential energy. So kinetic energy, and we remember that's energy at motion. The kinetic energy is moving around. It's how much you move around. The potential energy is the energy stored in the battery. All right, so now that we kind of understand this, let's go ahead and go back to our slides. So this advertisement makes a lot of claims. I'm going to let you think for a second. I'm going to look at my clock and I'm going to pause for a few seconds. It's going to be like your own very own episode of Dora the Explorer. And we're going to say, what kind of claims do we make? So either you can pause the episode or you can pause this video, or you can go ahead and just think for a second and then follow along with me. Okay, so let's assume that you paused the video. And then what kind of information do you get from this advertisement? Maybe there are some ideas of things that you got from this advertisement. Well, we got that the company captures kinetic energy and stores as potential energy, right? Let's see what other kind of information did we get, right? The batteries they use could be used to store school electronics. Batteries they use could be used in school. I'm going to leave the rest blank, and maybe you guys can think of some other ideas of things. What kind of information do you not want to get from advertisements? Again, I'm going to pause. I'm going to let you think for a second, or you can pause this video and stop and think for a second. All right, let's say some ideas of maybe something we don't know how effective it is, how well it works, how quickly will it break, how much movement. So that's effective. In fact, I'll just write that up there at effective. Right? How much movement is required? You guys remember when we looked at that cell phone charger that had the crank on it, right? When we actually looked up the advertisement for it, it said, you can crank it to charge your cell phone. But when we looked up the reviews for it, it said, well, actually, it takes almost an hour to do. So I don't know about you, but those swirly chairs will get really distracting if you have to move all the time during class, right? So maybe you had some more ideas. Feel free to put down more ideas if you had more ideas to put in there. So we were given these evidence cards, and what you're going to do with this is, again, I'm going to have you pause the video because I'm not going to sit here for 10 minutes, but you're going to pause the video and you're going to read through these and you're going to decide how strong the evidence is, right? So, for example, in A commercial paid for by Edu Energy says that Edu Swirl creates enough power to power the whole school. We have to think about that. Is it really reliable? Well, that's a great claim. If it'll power the whole school, that's a cool idea, but it's paid for by the company that wants you to spend money. If they want you to spend money, they're going to say great things, right? I'm going to write that out. Think about that for a second. If you want someone to buy your food or cookies or lemonade or something like that, or something, you are going to tell them it is the best they have ever had, or that it will be amazing, right? If you want someone to buy your cookies, you're going to tell them these are the best cookies they've ever had. So a commercial paid for by Edu Energy is not super reliable. So we're going to move it down to the not super reliable. Another one might say, that your friend said his dad uses Edu Swirl. That's what they are calling the chair at work, and it captures enough energy to charge his cell phone. Now, your friend isn't trying to convince you to buy them, right? So maybe that's a little more reliable. Maybe not as reliable as the scientists in here, but it's definitely more reliable than the first card. So I'm going to have you pause it and take a few minutes, or you can use breakout rooms and take a few minutes and think about how you would organize this, okay? So we'll just put a little thing up that says pause, and then when you're ready to unpause, you'll know because it'll be gone. So right here, I'm going to say pause. I'm not going to spell pause right, but I'm going to try, right? So if we pause right here on the video, okay? Okay, so I'm hoping that you've paused for long enough, and now we're going to unpause. All right? I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. Okay, so hopefully you paused long enough and you were able to think about where these cards go. So what you're going to do now is you're going to pick one of these claims. Claim 1 says the Edu Swirl chairs will capture enough energy to power the school's small electronics. Claim 2 says the Edu Swirl chairs will not capture enough energy to power the school's small electronics. So you have to decide which one you're going to do. Okay? If you think that they would be good, you're going to pick claim 1. If you think they're going to be not super useful, you're going to pick claim 2. You get to pick one of these. Do not pick both of them, just one. Okay? And then you're going to write a short essay to the principal, and you're going to use the strongest evidence. So on this list, you're not going to use evidence that you put down in the not reliable, right? You're going to use evidence that you put up here at the top of the reliable section. Again, you're going to use your evidence, you're going to use reasoning. This is how we make a scientific argument, right? So the claim is going to be, yes, we should definitely buy these chairs, or no, we should not. All right? The essay, here's what your essay should have. So you're going to write a scientific argument for your principal that explains why you think EduSwirl chairs will or will not help the school save money on energy costs. You can use one or more of the argument sentence starters. I'll go put those in here. They'll be sitting right there. And you're going to include the following. The claim you selected, right? You need the claim. You want an explanation of how it works. And you want evidence to support your claim. I recommend you use vocabulary like transfer and convert and kinetic energy. You guys have gotten really good at using sentences like that. So you should have an opening sentence explaining how it works, a complete sentence explaining your claim, at least 3 sentences with evidence, and then you're going to have a closing sentence that encourages you, Miss Van, to buy or not buy the EduSwirl chairs. All right? And make sure you're using good sentences and good spelling and good grammar. And if you're not good at that, that's okay. Just run it through the spell check. That's what it's there for. All right? And that's going to be where you're going to write it is you can write it on this set of slides right here and then turn it in there, or you're going to go ahead and put it on Google Classroom. Okay. You can write your essay in here. And I put in the scientific sentence starters, okay? And if you get stuck, you can send me an email. We can talk about it on Thursday and Friday. But I think you have all the tools necessary to do this. And then I'll have a space in the Google Classroom so you can copy and paste your answer. All right? Good luck, and I'll see you guys later this week.